Yeah.
Hi, welcome everybody. It's Wednesday, time for hashtag Whiskey Wednesday. And you'll never guess who nominated us for today's session of Whiskey Wednesday. Let me guess. Brad Fishman. We see, and you see all heads of Brad Fishman from all walks of life. But now is the time to get a little serious. I am very excited to be nominated because I'm not always the one that gets the limelight here in the family, in case you haven't guessed. I have to compete with Brad and Zach and Jake. But it's all part of a family, and we call, it's not just the Fishman family here, because Paul is one of our honorary members of the Fishman family, and Lane Fisher talks to Brad more than I talk to him. That is, and
whether he likes it or not.
The last 6 weeks, except for and Paul.
It's true.
It is true. So I'm very grateful to be here with my very favorite people in franchising, to talk about just really, we're all walks of life. We are all parts of the country. I'm in Illinois, as most people know, that are friends on LinkedIn. And right now, our governor has us staying at home until the end of May. And we are working from home. So it's a lot of Fishmans in this house. It's a little crazy, but things are getting better, and we're really very grateful for our employees, for our clients, and for sunny days, that's for sure. And what's keeping me going is, well, I shouldn't say that, but what's keeping me going is friendships and family. And I have lots of Zoom calls, and that's what's keeping me going together, and lots of laughter. And I'm working out more than ever, which is really great. But what about you guys?
Sherry. Let's jump in. I'll jump in.
Jump in, guys. Come on.
I'll jump in. So, again, can't thank Brad Fishman enough for nominating the four of us. When I first heard about this, I was on the phone with Mr. Sieber, and Jeff was said something to me about, check your email, go to LinkedIn. And I had no idea what he was talking about. And then I was like, oh gosh, look at this. Sounds like a good group of people to be nominated with. So I'm thankful for all of you guys, of course. This has been just a challenging time for the entire franchising community. I've never lived through anything like this before. I don't think any of us have. I am just, thankful for, really this franchise family that we have. There's a lot of people out there hurting, but, I think we're all stepping up and all trying to help one another. Whether it's, my immediate family, my extended family, and my franchise family, I'm just, thankful for everybody. We travel a lot in franchising. The last meeting I attended was the unconference, and, on the flight out there, didn't even occur to me that, any other travel after that would be postponed or canceled. And then I think while we were at the unconference, we all realized that that was probably going to be the last time we were going to physically see each other for a while. And that's been the case. So, on that note, I have a nice bottle of a Johnny Walker 18-year-old whiskey here, airport bottle. And I figured, since I miss being on the road and I'm stuck here, holed up with my 3 high school year-old kids and my wife, I figured I'll just reminisce and pour a glass of this.
Did you say airport bottle? Wait a second.
Yes, I said airport bottle.
We're heading a little bit, yeah.
Let's get some bottle service. Come on. Let's get some bottle service. I don't like that whiskey. I want my Tito's and soda with a lime.
That if Brad has a stairway that's more than 2 landings, Sherry has warm nuts on the layover landing so that he can feel at home and feel a little special. And so
He
I
would
don't know.
never be caught with Whistle Pig, ever. Never. Never would drink that. That's from, I get that from Jake.
Is that your whiskey thing?
Pam the
So,
whiskey guy.
I wanted to just say something. And Paul, we were all together when I just remember people looking down. I think first my dry cleaner, I got a notification on my phone at on conference that my dry cleaner was going to be closing early. And then I got a thing that Girl Scout cookies would be 10 days late. And then that progressively turned into the NBA being canceled, literally in real time as people were looking down at the notifications on their phone. And I didn't realize it until I got home, but the fact that we were all together and the fact that we could pivot all the programming to talk about the immediate crisis, or at least not deal with it alone. I mean, from suppliers to franchisors, the
Exactly.
shockwave was just then. I think we were at the edge of it, and I don't think we had any clue of what was happening. But I remember sitting there and thinking that people were like, some people were extremely well prepared. Some smaller companies were extremely well prepared, but people dialed into that issue. And I don't know what it would have been like to try to brainstorm a pandemic alone. I mean, it's one thing to say you have a franchisee crisis is something even, something that might be foreseeable. This is unforeseeable. And I just got so much feedback afterwards about people just being a part of the Franchisors.community that we have tried so hard to create, but it actually exists and it has arms and legs. And I mean, there were still 130 people out on conference getting the news at the same time. But it's made the world a somber place. It's taken franchise executives who I know to be, zealous fighters that go down to the end, that are buying stuff and growing and turning them into, furlough and layoff machines and pivot machines, and where nothing is as you thought. And it's disheartening. I think some of the outcomes of the payroll loans and who got them and who didn't is not necessarily a function of need. And I think the franchise executive community is about as strained as it can be. And the one great part that's always been about it is sort of the fact that it's not one industry, it's many, many industries, and many industries sharing lots of different principles and things. And I'm sure, like every other incident like this, there'll be a recovery and a coming out, and that will be another opportunity for us to share the best practices and what's working in technology and the people and the places and the things with others, and so that we can try to get this recovery launched as quickly as possible. I'm grateful for really our whole Springboard family, our franchise family, the number of people that communicate and write me and just to check in to see if we're okay. I'm very grateful for my partners. I mean, I'm from an era of an age that law firms functioned under one roof with very strict rules, and my team pulled it together and using remote technology, got 150 brands updated and filed in all the registration states, and just last Wednesday. And so I am incredibly grateful for the members of our team that are obviously the permanent members of our team that are part of the solution. And then, of course,
Brad is in the background making up.
I got my Cabo Wabo shirt on now.
Oh.
is this shirt coming to 3X?
Oh, to sneak into that. Go away.
How does he hold a mask on with these ears?
Yeah, really.
Extra elastic. I just want to finish one last thing because I was on my list, but I'm really grateful for my family. And one of the weird byproducts of this is I have my son Ryan home, and we're here as a family pinned in a way we've never been before, where people don't have the luxury to come and go as they please. And there's something I know I'll appreciate out of that. There's some efficiencies that have come out of the remote working that I know I'll appreciate, but I know that I could never do what I do without my family, my wife, Michelle, who I was telling somebody puts her high heels and lipstick on every day, except now that she has to wear a mask. She's not quite sure what to do with the lipstick, Sherry. But, she goes to work every day at a medical essential business. And I sit in my, sweats on my Slack calls. And I always say that I feel like I'm the husband that's promising to look for a job today.
I can help you find a franchise if you'd like, Lane.
But I mean, I think that it would be a very quiet and lonely place without just all the communication. And then you hear people getting a little optimistic about stuff, and people that are having an amazing online connection with businesses that are closed, and things that bring hope and optimism back onto the table compared to just furloughing and laying off people. So I'm hopeful for recovery. I'm grateful for the glue that has stuck the community together. I'm thankful to be included in as many webinars and happy hours and other things. I think we have a Cinco de Mayo or something after this.
Jeez.
We did.
But it's nice to be needed, even if remotely. And I'm looking for business to come back to normal as quickly as possible, and to be back live with folks. But this is a close second.
Yeah.
Here.
You know, I was excited when I got nominated by my dad, but you know, I wasn't surprised. And you know, when any time I can make fun of this hair, I'm gonna take it and get to show the entire LinkedIn community. That was I'll never take away from that opportunity, and for the opportunity to drink my favorite drink, which is the High West limited edition Burberry.
Nice.
So it's I was holding this, and you know, as for the last conference I did go to, as most of you did, was the Unconference, and we got the chance to, you know, check out the distillery. So it was really cool. So I was saving it for this instance exactly. And you know, so I'm out in Scottsdale, Arizona right now, where it's already in the 100-degree weather. So during quarantine,
Wow.
you know, I was this is the time where it's the best weather in Arizona, and we've been stuck in the house the entire time. So not good timing. I would rather quarantine be in the June, July, August time, but can't pick and choose. And you know, I like most people, all we've really been doing is sitting around, and luckily in Arizona, the golf courses have been open, so that's something that I've been able to do. I'm actually getting better at golf. But I do want
You
to
can beat Brad now.
Yeah, I told him my score the other day, and then he didn't believe me and asked me how many mulligans I had. I was like, that's not what. You got to give me credit.
It's like his dad. Always look.
But I do want to talk a little bit about kind of what PrimePay has been doing. You know, like we're a payroll company. I know you guys know, but for the rest of the LinkedIn community, we are a payroll company. But that's obviously not on people's top priority list to switch payroll companies or even hear from a payroll rep or any payroll companies. And we know that. So what PrimePay has really been doing is focusing on giving back. And I'm sure all of you guys know about the CARES Act and the PPP loan. So we've been hosting these weekly webinars that have been a lot of help, kind of explaining what the PPP loan is, how to get it, kind of give you more details on what you need to do once you achieve it. So it's been a great resource for a lot of people, because I know that's one of the biggest emphasis for small business owners is to get this loan so they can continue to employ their employees and make things, once it settles down, to actually just go back to normal. And another thing actually my mom brought up was the beauty of HR advisory. I'm sure you can attest, you have them on speed dial by now, asking them all these questions about it.
Yeah, a huge part of what PrimePay does, because I'm a customer, is their HR advisory. So it's for small businesses like ours, you know, who, I mean, you have never had to deal with furlough employees and recalling furloughs and all these questions about what happens when you do get the loan. And clients ask us too, because right now for us, clients, it's anything that we can do to help them, to partner with them as they rebuild, as they reopen. And so they're asking us HR questions as well. So I'm like, okay. So they are on speed dial. So I'm very grateful for them, that they're like my best friends.
Crying over the PrimePay administrative helpers?
No,
What's their phone number? I want to unload a little bit. They're like, Jake's holding out.
Yeah, well, you know what? He's in.
My wife is also a PrimePay customer. Sorry, I have the. Just the lawnmowers aren't.
What are they drag racing outside? What's going
Well,
on?
my wife is a Prime Pay customer and is very, says the same. I have not heard her tear up over it, but she is very grateful over the help that they give. And she's like, because it is actually important. When you're actually your payroll company, it's the most important thing. We had a payroll company once that was really good at deducting the taxes, but not really good at paying them over to the state. In fact, very bad at that. So it was just a very weird thing when you're strict discipline that you're bad at. But it's very important, I think.
Elaine, I see in your background, because I think it's something that's important, is maybe as we kind of wrap this up and we do a toast, I think it's important to toast all of our friends in franchising, all of our employees that have loyally, those that have employees and colleagues that have stood by and worked really hard through the crisis mode of the pandemic as we move to the new phase of opening up, to keep that strength and confidence and perseverance and resilience to, get out of this together as a franchise family. So here, why don't we cheers to that.
Cheers.
Guys, and here's as we end, the next thing we need to do is each of us needs to nominate 3 people. So as part of that, I'm going to start because I started this. So I nominate 3 people that I love in franchising. And one is Kelly Parker from Walk-Ons. And the second person is Dean, and I cannot pronounce your last name, Dean, sorry. Dean H. of Franchise Blast, a very long Greek name that I could never spell or say. And I wanted to also nominate Carrie Evans from Chicken Salad Chicks. So there you go. There's your nomination.
Awesome. And I'd like to, before I nominate my 3 people, I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank everybody at IFA, thank the government relations team, Matt and Suzanne and everyone else for everything that they've been doing here in DC and up on Capitol Hill to help protect the business format franchise model. I'd also like to thank all of you guys and everybody out there, all of the IFA members. This has been a challenging time, and it's just an honor to be able to support all of you. So I'm very thankful to IFA and to the IFA members. It's just a wonderful industry to be a part of. And on that note, the 3 people I'd like to nominate are, it's basically GT&S, Executive Recruiting. That's Gary Gardner from Franchise Update Media Group, Tom Portese from MFE Expositions, and my good friend, mentor and old boss, Scott Lair, formerly of IFA, now is heading up GTS, Executive Recruiting, and that's G for Gary, T for Tom, and S for Scott. So that's who I nominate for next week's Whiskey Wednesday.
All right, so I'll jump in here for a second. So first, we would all be remiss. Honestly, the toast should have been to people. We're fortunate because we have jobs. We go to work every day, and we working from home. We're limping along. There are so many members of our family that are not in that position, and I would like to make a toast that those people be re-engaged in a rapidly growing franchise system as quickly as possible. Drink to you. And here. My 3 people are, many of you know, we're working on our resume and employment switchboard. We're calling it at Franchisors.com, and I will nominate Crystal Luzama, Antonia, and Jam as my 3 to go forward. Give it to you, Jake.
Cool. So for the people I wanted to nominate are people that I work very closely with all year before this before COVID-19 and the quarantine, and after more than ever. So I'm going to go with my strategic partners and my manager as well. That's Denny Stone with Prime Pay. Tim Federson with Gaspar Insurance, and last but not least, Anthony Bird with DCV Franchise.
Anthony, good group.
Thanks, guys.
Everybody, a great time.
Have fun.
Cheers.